Welcome to the weekly Parsha Shir. This week's Parsha Chayei in memory of the soldiers, the Yidden who were murdered in Chastera, for the immediate coming of Mashiach, peace for Israel and the whole world, and the speedy coming of Mashiach. This week is Parshas, the week of Chayei Sarah. Chayei Sarah talks about the life of Sarah. The opening sentence of the Parsha is the life of Sarah. Sarah is the first.
Sarah.
Yes, the first of our mothers, the four mothers. It talks about how long she lived. And then the rest of the Parsha, it's an easy Parsha to talk about because it talks about one thing. What does it talk about? The marriage of Yitzchak, Isaac, and Rebecca. That's almost the entire Parsha. Now, why does it take so long to talk about their marriage? So the story is actually repeated 2.5 or about 3 times. The whole story of their engagement, of their shidduch, and marriage.
I haven't heard that in such a long time.
That's the Parsha. We'll go through the story briefly, and then we're going to focus on a particular part and learn it in depth. The Parsha begins after Sarah's death. Abraham tells his servant Eliezer, I need you to find a match for my son Yitzchak, Isaac. And he makes him swear he's only going to find a girl from the family, sends him off to where his family was from, and Eliezer sets on the mission. Avram gives him lots of gifts to gift the girl, and Eliezer is trying to figure out how is he going to find the family among this. It could have been a large city. I don't know how many people were there, but how is he going to find her? He makes a whole, so to speak, condition with God, and he makes signs. Whichever girl is going to offer him water and for his camels, that's hopefully going to be the right girl, and that's indeed exactly what happened. And a whole miraculous story. The family finally agreed to let the girl go. After hearing all the miracles that happened, it was a journey of about 11 days. He did it in 1 day, if I remember correctly, but he had some sort of
tailwind
helping him out.
Yes.
And the fact that it was the first girl that he found was incredible. And finally, the family was actually getting in the way. They didn't want to let their girl go. And the girl announced it was a 3-year-old girl. She said, I'm going, whether you guys like it or not. And then they agreed when they saw that she's going anyways. Rebecca.
Rebecca was 3 years old.
Yes, we're going to learn about it.
Wait, when Abraham married her?
When Isaac married her.
And how old was Isaac? He was
he was 37 or 40. 40, yeah. So she made the statement that she's going. She was very determined. She was happy to leave her area, which wasn't the best area. And she said she's going to meet Isaac, to meet Yitzchak. She's going for it. And the family eventually supported her and blessed her. And Eliezer, which was Abraham's slave, set on the way with Rivka with him. And he brought Rivka to Yitzchak. And then, after we have this long story with all of these miracles, Eliezer tells Isaac all of the different occurrences, all of the different things that happened on the way, this whole incredible story, how he found Rivka, and how he had a very quick journey. And then it says, Yitzchak brought her to the tent of Sarah, his mother, or in Hebrew we say he brought her to the tent, Sarah, his mother, yeah. And then he married Rivka.
And she was 3.
She was 3 years old. That was
People were much more mature then.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
3,
obviously.
She was going to
I,
fill up the well and to draw water.
no. I'm thinking back. This is not. This is the oral law, or you're telling me the written law? Because I remember when I read about the water and the drawing, but I don't remember any of the other parts you are saying. So
some of it is commentary. The ages, for example.
Okay.
Yes, the details about the tailwind. That's also, it's all hinted. It's all proven, but it's not spelled out.
It's not.
Doesn't say she was 3 years old. Doesn't say that.
Okay.
It says, for example, I came today to the well. So with his extra words, I came today to the well. So commentary explains to us. He says, I left today and I arrived today.
Those are the parts I didn't get. That's the Talmudic,
the Midrash. Correct. Commentary Rashi.
Okay.
So this is the verse we're going to be focusing on is he brought her to the tent of Sarah, his mother, and then he married her. Rashi, which is commentary, most basic commentary on Chumash, tells us something very, very untypical for his commentary. He tells us, it says a tent in the verse. What does the tent mean? There was a cloud tied. There was a cloud hovering over the tent. It's not written anywhere in the Chumash. But Rashi gives that commentary. Rashi is usually, he's not medrash. Rashi gives the simple interpretation. Here Rashi breaks his rule and he says, even though it just says he brought her to the tent, he says that there was a cloud on the tent. Sarah, he says, just says the tent of Sarah. That's what it says in the scripture, in the words. But he gives the commentary that Rivka's candles that she lit burnt from Friday to Friday. An open miracle.
Like Hanukkah, 8 days.
In this case, 7 days, yeah, same idea. It lit, it wasn't like a huge oil candle. Those days, I don't think they had all these complicated stuff. It was a small amount of
oil and a clay like this.
Yeah, and it managed to burn for 7 days. And Rashi also tells us that there was a special blessing in the dough that she made, which made it fresh and also lasted for a full week. The freshness maintained, kept going throughout the week. So this is, again, very untypical for Rashi to give such commentary, which is not really commentary explaining the verse, rather more telling us historical tales, which Rashi, the Medrash gives a lot of that. The Medrash tells us what was going on, it gives us behind the scenes, but Rashi's commentary usually is very loyal to the simple meaning and interpretation of the verse, and this is very unique for Rashi. Why does Rashi tell us this? So we're going to go through the answer briefly, why Rashi explains us this, and then we're going to focus on the lesson, incredible lessons we can learn from the story. The verse doesn't say he brought her to his mother's tent. What does the verse say? Can you read it for us? Read the translation for us. It's verse number...
I'm trying to find the place still.
I'm going to tell you where it is.
If you do find it in English.
Yeah, he's reading in English.
That's even better.
Chavdala 24:67.
There you go.
No, Chayei Sarah. Here, let me get it 1 second.
Lost the place.
I know you. Why would you?
2467. Ira, please. This is the final verse of this section. And Isaac, 67.
What is it?
The
Oh,
last-
and Isaac brought her into the tent of Sarah, his mother. He married Rebecca. She became his wife, and he loved her, and thus was Isaac consoled after his mother.
So it doesn't say he brought her to his mother's tent. He brought her to the tent. The tent means a unique and known tent. What would make it outstanding and unique?
The
So
tent of Sarah.
yeah, but ha'ayala. He brought her to the tent of Sarah's mother. The tent, not to his mother's tent. The tent. What makes something unique and the? Anyone knows? Dave Bear, Herschel.
No, nothing.
So where do we know of what do we have earlier on in the Chumash of something that's known, the area? We say it every day. Which hamakim? The Akedah. By the, how do you say the Akedah in English? The binding of Isaac. It says he brought him to the mountain, the place that God told him to. What made that place outstanding and unique? How did Abraham know the place that God wanted him to make the binding? There was a cloud on the mountain.
I had read the way I read it, but remember in English, incomplete, that the rock was the highest place on, what is it, Mount Hebron?
Right.
Moriah?
No, is it Morev? Where he
Moriah.
brought Isaac?
Yeah.
That's the highest point of the mountain. Not that it was a cloud there, but it was the highest point.
I'm not sure where that comes from. That's not written clearly in the Chumash. Maybe it's some medrash.
Okay.
Maybe, perhaps.
Now let me
But-
postulate you this. He brought her to the tent. He could have brought her to the chuppah that his Abraham and Sarah using their tent.
So he said he brought it to his mother's tent. That's the tent that
Yes,
he brought it
the
to.
chuppah.
I don't know.
I'm just
I don't
asking.
Yes, I don't know exactly what kind of chuppah they used then. I don't know if
Same we use now.
maybe yes, it could be a little different. There's these kinds of customs could vary from different communities, different generations.
Okay.
There's certain fundamental parts of the marriage which were true already then, and then there's different customs which happen. So what exactly how their chuppah looked, I don't know if we know exactly how it looked, but the tent could be the idea of the chuppah. There is
I'm just saying.
yeah, there is that possibility. So ha'ayala tells us the tent had a cloud on top of it. Sarah and his mother, those two words teach us about the candles that we're lighting and the special blessing that was found in the dough. Why does Rashi have to interpret this to mean all of these incredible miracles? So if we look carefully, we'll see Eliezer the slave told Isaac all of the miracles that happened with him, which were incredible and many. And yet, it doesn't say that Yitzchak agreed to marry Rivka. Even after hearing all of the tremendous wonders that happened, Eliezer was convinced by more than 100% that this was the right girl. It actually even says that Eliezer gifted the girl before he even confirmed that she was from Abraham's family because he was so certain that God answered his prayer to make sure that it's going to be the right girl. So even before he confirmed with the girl that she's from Abraham's family, it was already clear to him that this is the right girl. And there was many more miracles that happened that confirmed it. And he told it all to Isaac. And Isaac wasn't ready to marry her yet. At what point did Isaac agree to marry Rivka? Yitzchak agreed to marry Rivka. We're going to refer to them by their Hebrew names. When he brought her to his mother's tent, that's when it says he married her. That tells us, Rashi says, there must be something that happened by him bringing her to his mother's tent that convinced him that this is the right girl. What took place by him bringing her to his mother's tent that convinced him? And that's where Rashi's commentary comes into the picture. Only when he saw that this girl, Rivka, has the same characters and she's accomplishing the same things that his mother accomplished, that's when he was convinced that it's the right match. And that's why Rashi tells us, commentary Rashi tells us, when he came and brought it to his mother's tent, and he saw that the cloud was there, and he saw that the candles were lighting for a full week, they were just continuing to burn, and that the dough had a unique blessing, he's like, okay, now I know this is the right girl.
He actually waited a week.
Did he wait? I don't know if he waited a week, but he probably got the indication that's already. I believe it's addressed. I'll look it up. But he saw that it was. Now he knew that it was the right match, and that's when he agreed to marry her. And now I know that it's the right girl.
I was always taught. This is what I was taught. Don't bring a girl home unless you're serious. If you're going to be serious with her, the mother knows if this is the right girl for you. You have to have the mother's blessing, because a woman knows a woman. They know they're the same kind.
Mm-hmm. So
I bet you Sarah said, yeah, you can marry her. This is the girl for you.
So actually, it's very interesting you're saying that, because now we can find support for the idea that you're saying here. Why? Because Yitzchak didn't have his mother. Sarah passed away before the story took place. When did Yitzchak feel comfortable with the idea? When he saw the similarity to his mother Sarah, he's like, okay, now I know it's the right one. He saw all of these similarities, like now I can go ahead with it. What are the lessons we take from the story? There's a number. We're going to focus on 2 lessons. First of all, the power of the Shabbos candles. The Shabbos candles played a big role in the story. When he saw the Shabbos candles that were burning, then
he knows.
That's what convinced him that it's the right one. Now, for us over here, Shabbos candles are not the same as for ladies. The lesson for us, if someone needs to light, if someone is not married yet, so obviously he has to light the Shabbos candles. Like Avram lit the Shabbos candles, Abraham lit the Shabbos candles.
I like Shabbos candles.
Very good. Ever since Sarah passed away, his wife passed away, Abraham lit the candles. Yet there is something very unique with the candles that the ladies light, because Abraham's candles didn't burn for 7 days. Sarah's did. And Rivka's did also. So this teaches us about the unique power of the Shabbos candles, especially when it's done by the girls. And we have the responsibility and the opportunity and the privilege to influence whoever we possibly can to light the Shabbos candles. And from Rivka, we learn that the lighting of the Shabbos candles applies even to a non-married lady, because Rivka lit the candles before she was married. Only after she lit the Shabbos candles only then did Yitzchak decide to marry her, when he saw that the Shabbos candles were like his mother's Shabbos candles.
Girls start lighting candles at 3.
And the next lesson we take is that even when a girl is less younger than the age that she's responsible to fulfill the mitzvahs, the commandments, which is only at age 12, already then they start lighting Shabbos candles. From when they start the age of education, that they already understand what's going on, Rivka teaches us that already then we teach them to light the Shabbos candles. She was lighting the Shabbos candles from age 3, at least from age 3. We have documented that it was from age 3. And the special power that those candles have, especially again by the ladies, that it burnt for 7 days. I want to briefly explain why is it more unique when the lady lights the candles, which will also give us clarity what the men's assignment is in contrast to ladies. The Gemara, the Talmud, talks about the difference of men and ladies, that a man brings wheat to the home, and the mother takes the wheat and turns it into bread.
Oh, she grinds it.
Grinds it and turns it into bread. So this teaches us that a man's primary assignment is to conquer and bring in to his home, which is the idea of bringing in from the big world, which there's chaos going on. He wants to conquer and bring home as much as he can. He wants to, it says, a man, the custom, the derech, the way of a man is to conquer. So that's the idea, that a man is seeking to bring whatever he can into the world of Kedusha. To bring whatever he can into the world of Kedusha, he wants to accomplish and take over as much as he can. But what the man brings home is not ready to be used yet. It's like wheat. What can you do with kernels of wheat? Nothing. Who has the ability to take that energy and to materialize it and to turn it into something practical? That's the lady's assignment. The lady's assignment is she at home takes the energy that the man brings and brings it down and makes it practical. Candles, which light up the home, are more connected to that assignment of the lady. And that's why the mitzvah is given to the lady. If it's a couple, then the lady is the one that gets the privilege to light the candles, because that's more associated with her. And she again has that unique power that her candles can burn for 7 days. Today, it's not revealed by ladies today, but since all girls are daughters of the mothers, so they all have this unique quality that their candles burn brightly and strongly for 7 days, just not revealed. That's the general idea of why the ladies have this unique power and unique blessing. Whereas men, which like Abraham also lit, he didn't have that ability of the candles lighting Welcome Chaim for 7 days. So again, the lesson we take from here is about the importance of the candles, particularly from when it's lit by the girls, to influence whoever we possibly can to be lighting the candles, and to, again, even if it is a non-married girl, non-married lady, and even if it's a girl, not a lady, already then she can light the candles.
What about if it's a non-Jewish girl? Could you teach her how to light the candles? Does it have meaning?
It won't have meaning unless she decides to become Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a mitzvah for Jewish people, so once a person is Jewish, then he will
They say the Sabbath has the strongest focus of everything in the Bible because it's mentioned twice. First remember, then obey.
Yeah, it says it's equal to all of the other mitzvahs. Yeah, to all other commandments.
I was told it's twice as important. when it, like I say,
It's same
everything I
idea.
was told by
But it's the same idea.
Same
Shabbos
idea.
is very central. Shabbos is a very central mitzvah. And we'll just these
I think I understand the logic for why he thinks it's twice as important, because you have more neshamas Shabbos.
the extra neshama. Yeah, it's also true. It says a person gets an extra spirit on Shabbos. A person on Shabbos is a different creation. It's written actually that one of the doctors gave testimony that the pulse of a Jewish man on Shabbos is different than the rest of the week. That to that extent. There's other interesting things, but that's one example. So Shabbos and the candles of Shabbos have that unique quality. Now these three mitzvahs, these three commandments, dough, the bread, the candles, and the tent, refer to the three mitzvahs, the three commandments that are specially given over to the ladies, which is lighting candles, we just spoke about, challah, bread. The challah bread we call Shabbos, we call it challah. But the reason why it's called challah is because there's
like
a mitzvah.
No. A challah is a bride.
Right, but that's kala and challah.
Oh, okay.
Similar. Like there's no challah in English. CH. It's the closest you can get. Kala would be with a K or a C. So challah. What's the mitzvah of challah? This is also an important mitzvah for men. Ladies, again, specifically have this mitzvah because they work more in the kitchen. Whoever makes bread, when you make a dough, if you buy it in the bakery, you buy kosher bread in the bakery, they're already going to make sure that it comes to your house all set up. But when you prepare a dough, you must separate a part of the dough to give away to the Kohen, to the priest. Today we don't give it to the priest, so we destroy it. But you have to separate. It's called challah. That's why it's called challah. So that's another unique mitzvah that applies in the kitchen for the Jewish ladies. Again, I'm not sure if you guys make dough at home, but if you were to prepare a dough at home, then you would, if it's a certain measurement of dough, you would have to separate challah.
I did once have to ask about it, and they told me that I wasn't making enough, that I needed to.
Yeah, it has to be I think 8 or 9 cups of flour, maybe something like that.
Not pretzel, Wait a minute. So if you put a piece away for the Kohanim, what happens to the Levite? How come they don't get any?
The Levi gets other stuff. Challah is to the Kohen.
Goes to the Kohanim.
Yeah. But the Levi gets a tenth of the produce.
The Kohen?
No. The Levi gets a tenth of the produce, of the whatever grows. You have a wheat field, it produces 1,000 pounds of wheat.
You get 100 pounds.
So the Levi is going to get 100 pounds.
Okay. What about the challah?
The challah goes to the Kohen. There's
So
different gifts.
Get any bread?
Not ready dough. No.
No. Okay.
There's different gifts go to different people, and then you have the cloud on the tent represents the mitzvah of taharas mishpacha, family purity related to the Jewish home. So these are the three mitzvahs that Rivka was outstanding at these three mitzvahs that apply to the Jewish ladies. That's when Yitzchak saw that it's a good match, good to marry. We start off with the mitzvah that's most related to Rivka is the mitzvah of the candles, because the dough is more of a, so to speak, a mundane thing. It's food. There's a mitzvah you do with it, whereas the candles are purely a mitzvah. The only purpose of lighting the Shabbos candles is because of the mitzvah. That's why we light those candles. That's why Rashi tells us this mitzvah first. We'll finish off with today's holiday of Chav Cheshvan, the birthday of the Rebbe Rashav, the birthday of the Rebbe Nishma Seder, Shalom Dever of Lubavitch. We spoke last week partially. We're gonna talk about the Farbrengen a little more, but he was unique again in many, many, many different fields. One particular one I would like to mention is the amount of time he invested, not just for himself, but for us to be able to understand God. There's a tremendous amount of discourses. He spoke and he wrote an enormous amount of discourses explaining God. What does it mean, explaining God? That we should feel comfortable, consciously, intellectually, we should feel comfortable with God's reality and notice God wherever we look and whatever we encounter. We should notice God. He explained a ton of things, explaining in a very logical way God's presence.
This is Rashi?
This is the birthday of today.
Oh,
the Rashab, the Rebbe Shalom
he
David.
published also.
He published a ton of information, a ton of books explaining God. And here we want to finish off with another very powerful lesson, specifically connected to what we're talking about here, children. There's a story. Kinder, yes. There's a story of the Rebbe Rashab when he was a little child. How little? 4 or 5 years old. To finish off the story, 4 or 5 years old. He was home, and those days they didn't have stores, clothing stores. There was tailors. And the tailor came to his house to bring his mother a garment. A little boy. The tailor came, presenting the garment to his mother, and he noticed a piece of material in the tailor's pocket. Little boy, he took out the piece of material. The tailor right away felt uncomfortable. Why is he keeping this extra material? And he right away started justifying himself that it was extra or he intended to give it back. And he got ashamed. Later, the boy's mom told him that you shamed this tailor. And the boy felt very, very bad. He started crying that he shamed someone. A number of weeks later, he spoke to his father and he asked his father, what's the correction for causing someone to be embarrassed? His father asked him, why do you want to know? And he avoided of giving an answer. His mother asked him, why didn't you tell your father what happened? And listen to what this little boy answered, a boy of 4 or 5 years old. Is it not enough that I shamed someone? I should also now talk bad and tell my father this negative thing that I saw? And here we see, we're not talking about an adult which knows how to detect shame and knows how to detect embarrassment.
No.
We're talking about a kid of 4 or 5 years old. He cried when he realized that he caused shame to someone. 4 or 5 years old. He began to cry, and later he refused to tell over this negative thing that he saw, even though he was seeking a way of fixing it. So here we again see that the education, proper doing mitzvahs and acting in a proper way, we learn from the Rebbe Rashab and we learn from Rivka, doesn't only start when you're 12 or 13, when you're responsible. Even when a person is young and little, already at that point, he has inside of him a connection to God, which is as strong as it will be later. And on contrary, when a person is younger, in a way it's even stronger. And even a little child can come to this level that their mitzvahs are so powerful that can shine for a full week and continue being bright and maybe speedily merit the coming of Mashiach now in our days.
Amen.